Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Eric Parker with OneNumber, and I've got a little bit of a different style of video for you today. Usually we're doing tutorials and visual walkthroughs and formatting, calculations and things like that, and we love to do that about Tableau. But we're doing something different today, which is what are the top 10 things I wish Tableau would change? Some of these are serious, some of them are kind of funny, but they're all things that I would love to see Tableau either add to or alter about their product. And my hope for this is that we can actually entice some change at Tableau. I'm going to link out to the ideas forum. I'm going to link to all 10 of these individual ideas. You can vote on them. You can suggest your own ideas. If you have something that's an idea that you want changed about Tableau, feel free to put that in the comments. Put a link to the idea in the ideas forum. We can upvote on it. Let's use our little community here to try and enact some change. So I am going to go through 10. I'll go ahead and pull up the list for you right now, and we're going to take maybe 30 seconds to look at each of these to talk about what is this change that I'm requesting and why. Okay, idea number one, and I think that this could save more hours of Tableau developers' time than like anything else that I could think of. Please let us be able to edit multiple filters at once, right? So if I'm in a dashboard and I'm like, hey, I have all these filters, I want them all to be multi-value select filters with an apply button. Please, Tableau, please just let us control, select, segment, and category and do all these at the same time. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how mind-numbing it is sometimes to go here and have to individually select every one of these filters. And not only that, but then you have to make an individual selection for every little thing you want to change about it. If I want to have an apply button, I got to do that in all 4 of these individually. If I have multiple worksheets in the dashboard and I say, hey, I want all 4 of these to apply to these 5 worksheets, I have to do that for every single one of them. And it's cumbersome. And honestly, a lot of times it's causing issues because I will miss a filter or I'll add something later and I didn't think to double check it. If we could just please control select the filters to be able to make changes on multiple of them at once, I can't tell you. You could save your natural language processing and your Einstein and everything. Please just let us select multiple filters at once. Okay, idea number 2, and it's somewhat similar. Can we, along the multi-select idea, can we please multi-select objects in a dashboard for formatting purposes? So let's say for all 3 of these worksheets, I want a white background, I want a light gray border, and I want to be able to add a little bit of padding or indentation. So I got to select each of these individually. Hey, go to the background, change the background color, go to the border, add the border, right? I can't control select them. And to my knowledge, there's no way to copy and paste the formatting from one object to another. Now I know at the worksheet level, you can do that, right? I know if I go to a worksheet, I can right click, copy the formatting and paste it to another worksheet. But some of these things that you're controlling, like borders, are probably best done in the dashboard menu, in the layout menu here. And I would like to either be able to multi-select or copy and paste amongst objects. So please, Tableau, please. Okay, this one, I need to whittle it down a little bit, but I would like for images to display better in Tableau Server and Tableau Online. And from the research I've done on this, I think that it's largely tied to limitations with HTML. So this may fall a little bit outside of the scope of what Tableau really has power over. But I recently worked on a dashboard about famous people that died in 2021. And I wanted to set it up so that you could hover over and the Wikipedia paragraph about that person would pull up and their image from their Wikipedia page would pull up. And I'll tell you what, this thing was flawless in Tableau Desktop. It was so awesome. I was excited to share it with you all. And then I published it to Tableau Public, and I currently have it hidden because I don't want anybody seeing this. And the images do not automatically resize. So these images on Wikipedia, they're all different sizes. And in Tableau Desktop, they automatically resize to fit that window that I provided. But in Tableau Server or Tableau Public, they don't, which it just looks bad. And I looked at some workarounds to how to resize web images, and I don't want to go through hundreds of images and resize them personally. So please, Tableau, maybe something in your product could resize the image if it's a web object. Cool. I recently did an extended video about a proper function, which is to say that we have an upper function, so if we want to make all of our text uppercase, we can. If we want to make all of our text lowercase, we can. There are ways of using left and upper and grabbing the first character, making that uppercase, making the rest of them lowercase. But man, it would be so awesome if there was just a function called proper that would just take the first letter of a text string, make it capitalized, and make the subsequent characters lowercase, and do that for each of the individual words in that text string. Maybe there's some complicated situations like Irish names and stuff, which wouldn't get accounted for. That's fine. We understand Tableau. It doesn't need to be that complex if you can't do that for us. But please, please make a proper function. Okay, I would love the ability to be able to pivot on split fields or calculated fields in Tableau Desktop. I know you can do this in Tableau Prep, but not everybody has or uses Tableau Prep. So for instance, I made up some data about Seattle Seahawks football players and some of their activities that they did in college. So let's say the question is, hey, what were the most popular activities for these guys in college outside of football? So they did a bunch of comma delimited options. So what I would like to be able to do is to go to the data source. I want to do a split on this college activities field. So I'll say do a custom split on the comma, and I want all columns. And now what I want to be able to do is to select all of these columns and pivot on those values. Now, generally, you can do that with standard fields, not calculated fields. So if I was, wanted to for some reason, I could select regular fields and pivot, but I cannot do that with calculated or split fields. That would be a game changer for data preparation, especially for survey data. So please, Tableau, let us pivot on calculated or split fields. All right, this is just a particular random pet peeve. So this is not as big of a deal as the other ones, but it's just something that as a teacher, as a consultant, it's hard when I'm talking somebody through how to create a calculated field when this, I don't want to call it an error, it's not an error, but when this little nuance creeps up, it's kind of a killer. So if somebody is writing a calculated field to get the first initial of the last name of each of these customers, they might say something like split the customer name field on the space and just give me my second column. So for Aaron Bergman, this is just Bergman. Now I want just the first letter of their last name. So if I go before the split function and I start to type in the next function I want, like left, if I use the autocomplete, it overwrites the other function. So notice right now it's LE split. If I hit enter, it autofills left, but it cuts out the split function, right? So what I am proposing is when you autocomplete, only autocomplete forward from where I am in the text string now. Don't wipe out anything in the future because you don't know, that might be a function I actually want. Keep the split function there, but just autocomplete and autofill the rest of the left function. So this is my idea that I am suggesting, which is please stop making functions override each other in calculated fields when using autocomplete. Okay. This is a refrain I've heard from a lot of folks, and it's something that comes up a lot when I'm teaching classes. It would be really nice to have the ability to join Tableau server data sources. And I understand from Tableau's perspective, they would say, hey, when a data source is published to Tableau server, it's curated. A lot of times it's authenticated. People might not want their data sources getting mixed and matched with other data sources. What I would say is, why don't we let the administrator of Tableau server indicate whether or not a data source is eligible to be joined to another Tableau server data source. So for instance, who manages each sales region? So right now I'm connected to a Tableau server table for orders. The data that I need for who manages each region is in the people table. So normally you could add another data source connection and do a cross database join. Here, my only option is that I would have to add a new data source to another Tableau server connection and then blend them. It would work, I believe, in this circumstance, but blending in Tableau opens up an entire Pandora's box of potential issues, and possibly things you don't want to get into. It's more limited than relationships or joins. So I personally prefer to avoid the blending and just be able to join Tableau server published data sources. Okay. Number 8, retain formatting when swapping data sources. So here I've got these beloved Seattle Mariners colors for my sales by category. A lot of times you're swapping data sources in Tableau when you shift to a new file, or you're working in a local file and you want to switch to a version of that file that's on Tableau server. And what happens is if you right click on the name of your data source and then say replace data source with another data source that's in that list there. So I'd say do this one with this other order superstore. What happens is that it often clears some of your formatting, things like colors and numbers. So I would have to go pick those colors again, right? Which you might say, stop complaining about it, no big deal. The problem is when this happens at scale, shapes get swapped, colors. And so I'll have situations with complex dashboards where it could be an hour or more of work to go back through every dashboard and double check, oh, did it change any colors or any specific formatting that I selected? So it'd be nice if there was a way that Tableau could retain that consistency from one data source to another and say, hey, you know, when we swap, it's going to keep up and keep using the same defaults from the original data source. It's going to pass those to the new data source. All right. This one comes to us from the world of Excel. You may know that in Excel, you can double click on a column and it will automatically expand that column so that all of the text could show up. Now, sometimes in Excel that happens and you end up with just this ridiculously long cell. So maybe that's why Tableau doesn't have that happening. But it would just be super nice to be able to go into a worksheet and just, hey, I want my full customer names to be showing up. So I'm just going to double click here and then the column width is going to snap to the widest text value. Seems simple enough. I'm sure you could do it Tableau. So what do you say, huh? All right, and this last one is the most for fun option that I've added here. As I was scrolling through the Tableau ideas forum, which again, I'm gonna link not only the general ideas forum, but also all these individual ideas. I'm gonna link these all in the description below. So one of the ideas that I came across while looking for some of the specific ideas I already come up with was about adding a dark mode or a dark theme. And I was like, man, this is cool. So the commentary on this is folks were saying, hey, listen, I spend a lot of time, I spend hours in Tableau every day, and it can be straining on my eyes to have the bright light all day. So could we add a dark mode? Maybe there's a toggle somewhere so that the background are all dark instead of light. And I just thought this looked so cool. So I was like, yeah, I could get behind supporting this idea. So how about it, Tableau? What about a dark theme? So those are my top 10 ideas for Tableau to change. I'm sure that if you ask me again in a month, my list will change a bit because this was something I kind of thought of and put together in the last week or two. So I wouldn't say that, you know, if I only got to pick 10, would it be these 10? They might change a little bit, but man, for sure, some of them will never change until until the way it works changes, hopefully, like the multiple filter selections or the multiple object selections in a Tableau dashboard. So I hope this is a fun video. I hope it was a little bit different, maybe a little bit humor, a little bit of raging against the earth, and maybe a sliver of hope for the world that could be if some of these changes could be made. So really appreciate you checking in and supporting all of the work that we do. And yeah, again, feel free to add your own ideas and comments. Would love for, you know, our community here on the OneNumber YouTube channel to support each other, to support these ideas, and just to try and encourage Tableau to make some of the stuff that we want to change about the product happen. So thanks for checking in, and can't wait to catch you next week for another video here on the OneNumber YouTube channel.